strong blocks, wraparound, and what it means. So Commander Ruiz just talked about the work that CPD completed as it relates to the takedown. Did anybody else notice anything in the community in the last couple of days besides the police activity?
I noticed a lot of city trucks.
Yes. Yes? Yes.
Yes.
We had a work crew from the county jail right on our alley.
Yes, sir. So the other thing that we do as part of the takedown is to come in and do a complete city service blitz for everything that's been called into 311 that's currently open in the system for the complete area around the takedown. And so forestry is out, road control is out, they did baiting, graffiti, there were 20 buildings painted, 12 graffiti removals done, there were traffic lights, potholes, weeds were cut down, garbage was picked up, 24 alleys, 9 vacant lots, 10 parkways, 335 total bags of garbage accumulated, trees, lots cut and so forth. So there's a lot of activity that happened right after this. So we pair those two things because the goal is to remove the criminal element, and as the commander spoke about, at least the 4 who were already on parole are going to be gone for a long time. The other 4, there is a focus. The Chicago Police Department has worked out with the state's attorney's office to deny bonds to those people so that they don't come back. So that's been one of the systemic challenges, is getting them and keeping them away from the community. But this is the perfect time for all of you to strike and for all of us to work with you to make that happen. Because while that element is out of the community, we need to do some community building. And so the city came in and partnered and did all of those blitz services, because frequently in communities that are plagued by open air drug markets, people just stop calling in stuff. So in addition to the things that were called in and getting all of those systems completed, there was a complete canvass of the area, and a lot of things were done on site. So as the crews were out working, they go down the alleys and they address what's happening in alleys, and they go in and they address what's happening in vacant lots and so forth. So that you see this and you feel, you're like, wow, there's something different, there's something happening here. And we're pairing these blitzes with the takedowns, and we're calling this strong blocks, because our hope is this. A block that's strong is a block that has community members engaged, that will say, we are not letting this element come back onto our streets. And we've seen it happen time and time again, block by block by block. On the west side of Chicago, 19th and Troy, they did the exact same thing. Worked with them. They didn't have block club. They had a block club that had gone away. There were 3 new block clubs formed. They had a wonderful summer barbecue recently to celebrate all of this, because for the first time, kids were outside playing. Everybody was out. Even if they didn't come down to the corner for the party, everyone was outside. But now they have the ability to sit on their porches, to walk down their streets, because, and they said, those guys tried to come back, and it had been months for them. They were one of the first takedowns. That those guys tried to come back, but we were not going to let them. That they had decided they weren't going to let those conditions return back to the way they were. So we're here today to ask for your support and partnership in this process. There are a lot of things that the Chicago Police Department can do. There are a lot of things that the city can do, broadly speaking, from the mayor. This effort is run out of the mayor's office. I oversee it. Our city departments are here. Buildings, water, ammo care and control, Department of Family and Support Services. I'm remembering all the trucks I saw outside. I might have missed a couple. Streets and sanitation. Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities, and we brought information for you as well, because the other thing we find is that in communities, people don't always have the information. They don't know where the resources are. They don't know where to get the services. So we have that information here to make sure that you do have that information. But there's an ask, and that is simply this. We need you and 50 of your closest friends and neighbors to become more actively involved in the blocks and in the communities. Because if the residents are absent from space, then what happens is those who would do bad things take that space over. If we don't use our parks, what happens? those who want to do bad things take over the parks, and then when we decide we want to use them, now we have to, don't fight with them, but now we have to fight to get that back, to take that park back. So we want to help you hold on to the ground that you've just gotten as part of this takedown effort, and partner with you and work with you to help. If you don't have block club, if you don't have a block club, we want to help you start a block club. And you can call it whatever you want to call it. You can call it two old ladies on a porch. I don't care what you call it. Just get together and say, we are going to have a say in what happens in our community. And we have people here through CAST who are going to help you organize those things and resources. We have some activities planned, and I'll let Glenn talk about that. We want to keep this momentum going. What has happened in many communities, and your community is similar, is that at one time there was this high level of activity, high level of engagement, community. We knew each other. We have to fight to get that back, right? I have a block club. My husband's vice president right now. We have to work. It's hard. I mean, it's work. You have to do it. It's just, you can sit back and think that, well, the other 10 neighbors on my block, you have to take an active role too. There's something that we can all do. Where there's the welcome committee, I know every kid who lives on my block for a 2-block radius. Every single one. I know every family. Do you think that makes me a little bit safer? So that's something, everybody in this room, you don't need anybody's permission to know your neighbors, to know the families that live on your block. Even whether or not you bake them a cake and say, hey, come over for coffee or tea, or whether or not you do that, but just go in and say, hey, my name is Mrs. Brown. That's not my name. My name is Mrs. Davis. I'm so used to saying Mrs. Brown for illustrative purposes. Why are you laughing? I didn't used to be named like Miss Brown or anything. I'm just saying, I just use it because it's like Jones and Smith. But you can go and get to know your neighbor and, get to know one another. And that doesn't require anything from anybody. It just requires you guys just working together on your blocks and making it a priority. Doing phone trees and things like that. When we see something in our block, I call 2 or 3 people, hey, we all call in the same issue, the same challenge or what it is. Because that way, we know that the city knows it's not just me calling in. This is not just a problem for me. This is a problem for all of us who live over here in this block, in this community. So we're asking to partner with you guys and to increase the level of engagement and participation. And we're going to try to set up some activities, and I'm going to turn that over to Glenn, to actually help continue this momentum, to continue to spread what just happened, and to make it reach further and further and further and further and further. So this really is about taking back communities block by block by block. A block that's strong has some leadership presence on that block. The people on that block care. The people on that block call in when they see things are broken. And that means everyone in here. Because what happens, we'll say, I'll call when I get back. Maybe you have to wait. And I know sometimes you call 301 and you have to wait, but it's worth it. Call and get it in, or do it online, or if you have a mobile phone, you can use an app and take a picture and do it that way. There are a lot of ways to get those service requests in. But if we don't do it, frequently people will call the mayor's office and they'll say, this light has been out for weeks and I'm in so and so and complaining, they're upset. And I get that because they feel like the city hasn't delivered a service to them. So I'd say, all right, we'll work to get it addressed. I'll go into the system and we will see that nobody has called it in. So truly, 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 each of you, if you see something that needs to be addressed, take the 2 minutes that's required to get that information into the system, because it's better, it's for the betterment of your community to make sure that we know that, because really we don't. You might say, don't they know this light is broken over here? No. No, no. Whatever, no, no, no. Okay? So we want to partner with you and work to take what we have right now while these guys are locked up to make sure that you guys are energized and enthusiastic and all of your neighbors the same, so that they cannot come back, that you guys are so committed to not letting that element return to the community so that your blocks become stronger. I'm sorry, I think Jennifer.
Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Welsh. I'm the Deputy Commissioner
with the Chicago Department of Family and Support Services, DFSS, not DCFS. I know people have a different relationship with that organization, DFSS. I like to say that we're the soft side of the city because we provide and we fund all the social services. So, do any of you know, any of you ever been over to the service center at 87th and Commercial? It's really just right around the corner, right? That's us, that's the FSS, that's the agency that I work for. Or maybe somebody knows a young person who had a summer job. I was coming down, was it South Chicago Avenue, and I saw that amazing garden right there. And we helped place kids at that garden right across from the high school. And they worked there all summer. So not only were the kids having a good, viable job where they could make money and spend time working instead of being on the streets, but they're growing food for this community. That's the kind of stuff that our department does. Everything from Head Start, services for young children to help them get ready for school. And studies have shown that kids who go to Head Start programs are much better prepared for school and then do well. It's amazing to think that a preschool that you give to a 3-year-old is going to increase their chances of graduating from high school. But that's the proof that we've got about Head Start. So we do everything from Head Start to services for the homeless, to services for domestic violence victims. That's why I wear the purple ribbon. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Services for veterans. Services for people who are trying to reintegrate into the community after incarceration. All the way up to senior services. And we have all kinds of senior services. Things from exercise to home-based meals, to congregate meals, all that stuff. So I got the big table over there with the blue tablecloth. And I have brochures and flyers and booklets about everything. But I wanted to talk to you guys today because when my colleagues were talking about taking over the community, I want to talk about what the city is funding in your community already. Because there are about 25 social service agencies, including Head Start, which is happening right at the schools. But there's about 25 different agencies that we're funding right here in this commander's district. Agencies that you've heard of, agencies that you work with, or maybe some of your friends and colleagues have gone to, and your neighbors probably go to, the kind of place where somebody who is trying to reintegrate with society can go and work on their resume. If you don't have a computer at home, they can go there, work on their resume, look for jobs, get some employment training assistance. I'm just trying to give you like a broad overview of everything that the Chicago Department of Family and Support Services has to offer. And we are part of your community. We fund, we call them delegate agencies. We fund community-based organizations that are right here in your neighborhoods. And those agencies work closely with the other departments that you're going to hear from today and with police. I know our department, my division, specifically I work in the domestic violence division, and I work really closely with the police department because, of course, domestic violence is the kind of problem that needs to be addressed from a public safety standpoint and from a community standpoint. So we're working really closely together, all the city departments and community-based organizations, and with folks like you, to try and make a difference in communities, because that's really what it's about, whether you're talking about homelessness or domestic violence or services for seniors. It's not just about making safer communities, it's about making better communities. And that's what Strong Communities is about too. So I'm going to be over there with all my propaganda, all my materials. I bring a lot of paper everywhere I go. So if folks want to talk to me afterwards, I can give more specifics. But
So on Saturday, briefly we talked about all the different social services and all the other resources that are out here. Whether you knew somebody needs some senior some help, if there was someone needed help with their rent or some homeless issues, etc. Remember I talked about that? I said we could talk about that today. Make sure you see her before you leave. She can help you out with that information. It's a great resource there to find out what's available here today. Okay, now, I was always taught you're supposed to start off with the most important things. How many people know who Ed and Tony are? Okay, for those, let me introduce you. Ed, Tony, raise your hand. Those are your community organizers. They're responsible to help keep people organized. And organizing is so important. And we're going to spend just a few minutes talking about that. Now, what we're really going to do first is this. I want to know, I'm going to need somebody's help, what is the ideal block? If you could have anything on your block, you want it. What is your ideal block? Now, I'm going to need some help here to do this. Because we're going to try to come up with 25 to 30 things. So I'm going to need someone to take notes for me on all those things. Who wants to volunteer? Somebody has to lead. You got it?
I like to see a lot of kids playing on it.
Oh, wait. We're on a note taker. You almost volunteered for the wrong thing. Would you do a pen? All right. You got it? You got a pen? You got to get your paper? Got it. All right. So, I want you to start thinking about what you want in your block. And there's a reason why. Because I told you Saturday, I'm always going to ask you to do a little bit of work. Keep that in the back of your mind. What do you want on your block? Now, to make it interesting, and don't tell Felicia, we're going to pretend like we got the mayor's credit card. We're using his Amex. Okay? So I want to know what's on that block. You got the Amex. We're not telling him. And if anyone do, I'm telling you it's your idea. Right now. I got your names already. What do you want in your block? You want more kids playing? More kids playing. What else do we want?
Paved streets.
Safe streets. Give me something a little more specific.
Paved streets.
Paved streets. Paved streets. Okay.
Less abandoned buildings.
Less abandoned buildings. Okay.
Street lights.
New street lights. I'm saying.
More street lights.
Hold on, wait a second. Y'all, you got on? You can use a credit card. Less abandoned buildings.
Yeah. More speed bumps.
More speed bumps. More speed bumps. Okay.
Better landscaping.
Better landscaping. Okay.
Less crime houses.
Cleaner alleys. Okay. We can do that. What else we got?
That's why you want to organize black lives. So we can get together and clean it out ourselves.
So what else we got? It's a black Amex, meaning no limit.
More homeowners.
More homeowners. Okay.
Less abandoned lots.
Less abandoned lots. Lots. Not buildings, the lots.
Less slumlords.
Less slumlords. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Increase continued police presence.
Increase continued police presence. More police.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. I'm missing. High, hold high.
Traffic circles.
Say again?
Traffic circles.
Traffic circles. What else you want for your block? This is your block. You can have anything else. Anything you want. You got the Amex, spend some money.
Better lighting.
Do we say better lighting? Let's see.
He said street lighting. Clean
Okay.
streets.
Yes, ma'am.
Less crime.
You want less crime. I agree. Less crime.
Clean streets and less of the crime boxes. Two things for me.
Less
Clean, the streets to be clean,
Clean
and less
streets, yeah.
crime boxes.
crime boxes.
Those little picture taking.
Oh, the blue lights.
Yeah, I call them crime boxes.
Okay, crime boxes. I've never heard of them called crime boxes.
More tree trimming.
More tree trimming.
That way bushes that people can see, you know.
More tree trimming.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What else we got? How many? We're up to about 16?
16.
16? Okay.
Yes, 16.
All right.
More community activities like theater, reading clubs, things like that.
More community activities. Got it. What else we got?
We want a list of those.
Boys and Girls Club.
A Boys and Girls Club. We'll make that an amendment to that one. Okay, Boys and Girls Club, right?
More parks.
More parks. Okay. What else would you like for? I got more parks. What else would you like? It's your block. You got an amendment. You can spend some money. It can look any way you want it to. All you got to do is say.
More grocery stores. More businesses, yeah.
More grocery stores. Full service grocery stores, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Less liquor stores.
Less liquor
Amen.
stores. You can put that in, less liquor store. Okay.
More jobs in the community for the kids.
You want more jobs?
More jobs.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I think we're at 21. We're going to give 4 more.
More
more activities and programs for the younger guys
Let's be more specific.
to learn how to do craftsmen or, working on
We want more trade
automobiles.
opportunities
Yeah,
for young
trade,
people.
yeah.
Got it.
They
All
definitely
right.
need that.
What else we got?
Better schools.
Too much people and the streets are.
Too many people in the streets drunk. Okay?
That's liquor store.
Hey,
Have that
I'm telling you, too many people in the street drunk. You're right, and you can go with whatever you like. More home improvement loans, okay.
More community gardens and abandoned lots.
More community gardens and the abandoned lots. I think we're at 25. We'll take one more. I saw a hand over here, I thought.
In art.
Okay.
Road patrol.
Say again?
Rodent control.
Rodent control. All right. Can you, you ready? All right, we're there. Can you read them off to me real quick?
Sure. More kids playing, paved streets, less abandoned buildings, more street lights, better landscape, clean alleys, speed bumps, more homeowners, less abandoned lots, less slumlords, more police, traffic circles, less crime, clean streets, less blue lights, more tree trimming, more community activities, boys and girls clubs, more parks, more grocery stores, less liquor stores, more jobs, more trade opportunities, more home improvement loans, more home improvement, I said loans, but I meant grants.
Okay.
And more road control.
Drunk.
And less drunk.
Less drunk. Got it. All right. So we get, that was the 26th, I think, actually. Okay. Oh, better lighting. We've got better lighting. Oh, we got it. She said it. So I just wanted, so you heard that long list, right? All right. Guess how many were police related?
Crime.
All of them.
Nope.
No.
3 of them.
Oh, I thought just two.
And I'm giving one kind of there. We'll take the drugs.
The drugs.
All right, we'll take the drugs, all right? The more police and the crime box, better known as a camera.
Why you look at me?
We'll take those 3,
Blue
okay?
lights.
So that means there's 24 things that you guys can get involved with.
Something happened, they don't see nothing.
Those are all opportunities for us to organize around. So if everything that becomes, we usually want to come about crime, we want to talk about what's wrong with us, what's wrong in the community, how the bad guys are taking over, they're doing such and such, and etc. Guess what? There's 24 opportunities for us to organize around. So when we say we want to get involved, and we don't know where to get involved, tonight, guess what you came up with?
Where to get involved.
You got 24 of them.
Hey, Glenn.
Yes.
I'd like to add something too. Because I know maybe because Glenn said, well, you have a credit card.
Oh, man.
Maybe it's hip thinking. But the first thing I thought of was, what do I want everybody on my block to cut their grass. That isn't, the city doesn't have to cut my grass, right? I thought about that. I thought about a block club. So if I want everybody to know our neighbors and to be part of the block club. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because there are some things on this list. Better landscaping, those are things that residents can work on. Community gardens are things that residents can work on. Clean alleys, are things behind the alley behind my house. I mean, I have my garbage there, my garage is there. I mean, that area, right, belongs to me. So those are things that we can work on as community members. I think there were a couple of other things, and I'm just saying that because to round out that thinking that this isn't. He gave you all a wish list, so y'all are like more lights and this and that, and it's all those things that we're asking for additional resources for in our community. But then there are things that don't cost us anything that we can be working on right now, just as a group, just as a block, while we work on the bigger things. So a park, did you say park?
Yes.
Is a bigger thing that's worked on. Grocery stores is a more longer-term project that's worked on, and the mayor has been committed to eradicating weed deserts, and he hates liquor stores. I won't say he hates liquor stores. What else? Somebody might know. What, no, because people drink, and not the drunks, but the other
Social
people
work,
don't
yes. Responsible.
But what it is they should be responsive to the community. What he does not like is that little kids go into those stores to buy things, potato chips and things like that, because they don't have a grocery store. Reading programs, it's call me crazy, you know, libraries. I was in the library with my kids yesterday. It was a Monday, and it was virtually empty. So sometimes it's like the resources that we have to use them more. It's like we don't, sometimes, my mom would say, we don't miss the water to the well runs dry, right? So when, a while ago, there was all this talk about closing libraries on Monday. Yes, there was a Monday, that's why it stood out for me. And everybody was all up in arms. But I'm going to tell you, I was at a library on a Monday. It was practically empty. So, and I just mentioned that to round out, so we can work on the really, really big things, all of us together, and that's with government, so that's with Department of Transportation and the Buildings Department and all of the other infrastructure teams here. But then there are a lot of things that we can be just working on, you, Tony and Ed, and Glenn, Brooks. Can be working on with you on those small issues that we can just be addressing block by block by block with community health.
Excuse me.
All right, hold on. We're going to get to questions, I promise you. We're not going to forget. So, as we talked about all those things, now, let's be honest. One person can't do all of them, right? So we talked about the need to organizing. Who are the two most important people to organize in organizing this room? Tony and Ed, right there. So we're giving everybody up today. If I'm going, everybody's going. All right? But that's the reason why they're going to be reaching out for you. That's the reason we need you to sign in today. How many people got to sign in? That means some people haven't. Don't worry, we'll get you before you leave. But you need to sign in so we can organize, so we can get in contact with you. So when we start these projects, guess what? The ones that you're interested in, you can participate in. And we understand everybody's not going to be interested in everything, right? All right? I'm not a big gardener, I'm sorry. All right, but I will go behind the alley and I'll clean that up versus gardening, all right? I'll do one of the two. So that's okay. But that's the most important thing about signing in and getting involved is the organizing part of it. Now, to close this out, we talked about, I warned you one Saturday, I warned you before I started, that I'm going to ask you to do some work, right? All right. So one of the things that we're going to need to do, so all the bad guys are gone, right? Not all of them, but a lot of them are gone, right?
No, they were
so that is
there
created
at 11
a
o'clock.
space. All right.
They were, excuse me, they were there on 85th in Muskegon at 11 o'clock. Shot about 6 or 7 times.
Well, we're going to
I
come
was
back.
out in front of my house working in my yard.
85th in
It's
Muskegon?
not safe to even go out the house.
Escanaba or Muskegon?
Muskegon. On
Okay,
84th, 85th, right on that corner.
Okay. All right, let's talk about that
car
incident.
came straight down and shooting and just started shooting.
I got it. But we also do have a vacant space because some people have gone, right?
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things we would like to do is some positive loitering. Okay? And don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to do positive loitering at 11 o'clock. But I will ask you to do positive loitering at 6 o'clock. And one of the places we would like to begin, and I'm not saying this is going to